and welcome back to Sullivan's Backstage Pass. I'm here with Eddie, Liv, Kyle, and Brandon. Thank you all for joining us today. Thank you for driving down also. Like, that is freaking huge. Like, check that off of my bucket list of things that I didn't expect to ever happen. So I just wanted to thank you for that. And then while you were in between us and contacting came down here, I checked out a bunch of your all's videos off your Instagram page. Y'all are tight. Like, I really enjoy the songs that you're all putting out there. So, like, how did this band form to begin with?
Do you want to take that, or you want me?
Yeah, so Kyle here told me he played drums and he wanted to form a band, and I was just kind of like, okay, like I kind of heard it before, but he can't. He came. He kept coming back at me. I mean, like, dude, like seriously, we should start a band, dude. Seriously, we should start a band. And I was just like, yeah, but dude, get a drum set. So one day he was like, man, I'm at the counter at the music store, man. Are you sure you want to do this? And I was like, yeah. That's kind of like how it started. We had played one time before and just at some random rec center that had some instruments. And that was probably our official first show. We had probably like 20 people there watching us through this little window. And yeah, we've been playing and hanging out ever since.
And how about in its current form?
How so?
So, like that. So, did you all sort of get together in this journey, or did it start with just a couple of you? Like, how did you all meet?
Well, it started with him and I.
Yeah.
We were going for what, about a year?
Yeah, I was playing bass at the time, but there was a need for me to switch to guitar because it's just really hard to find people who will commit.
Yeah, and then obviously I played drums. We did that for about a year, and then
And then Brandon approached us, and Brandon said, "You guys need a bass player?"
Yeah,
and we were like, "Yeah, sure."
basically.
So Brandon jumped on board, and then Kyle found Liv.
that was an interesting one.
Yeah.
How so?
Do you want to? You should say it from your point of view.
Well, basically, I had worked a job at Rousford Apple, which is kind of a chain from where I used to live, like a local grocery chain. And usually we had to like have like a dress code of like wearing like a uniform shirt or whatever. But there were some days where I was like, nah, I'm too lazy to wash like the two shirts that I have. So sometimes I would wear like this Avril Lavigne shirt, and this dude, Kyle, comes up and he's like, I don't know, I like ring up whatever he had. I think he was just having stuff for dinner or something. And he like looks at my shirt, and I guess he spotted me and he was like, he said I looked weird. So he was like, I don't know. I mean, it was cool. I've always wanted to do live music since I was a teenager. So it was like crazy to have him be like, do you like music? Well, I'm in a band. Do you sing? And I'm just like, kind of. So, I mean, then he gave me his address and I went over. We kind of did some sessions together and it was really cool. So, yeah.
And what was it about her that piqued your interest? Like, how did you know, Frank? Because some people, like when you look at them, like they can sing. Like there's something about them, they're going to be able to sing. Was there something that sort of stood out to you?
Well, I think naturally I'm just kind of like random, and I just say like, I ask or say if I have a question or something like that. I don't even have to know you. I'm going to ask you a question or just talk to you. But yeah, like she said, I was just getting my groceries, and I don't know, there's just something about her. She looked like, she said it weird at the cash register, and I was just like, huh, I don't know. Something just pulled me to her. And then, yeah, as soon as I pulled up to the cash register, I was like, you like music? Like all weird, like, and I think it was the Avril Lavigne shirt. And I don't know, she just looked not normal. And I was like, I should ask about this. So I don't know. I just had a gut feeling. We were kind of in dire straits looking for like a singer, so it was just one of those random questions that so happened to work out.
Sometimes those are the biggest risks that pay off the best.
Yeah.
Like sometimes you just got to take that wild chance. Because like I say this all the time in the podcast, that the muse is a living and breathing thing. And you never know when the muse is going to visit you and tell you something or whisper something in your ear that says, you need this person in your band. And if you're open to it, opportunities come. But if you close it off, sometimes you miss out on those things you never knew was possible. So in terms of like origins, right? So for like, I want to go down the line. At what point did you start music in general?
You can send it, dude. Go.
Yeah, I think like music in general, when I was 18 at the time, I started like really listening to a lot of different live music in high school. And I had just picked up bass from a class, haven't touched an instrument before. And I think like after like seeing like some of my inspirations, like Anderson .Paak play live, Hiatus Coyote, like they were pretty good. I really loved their stuff, and I was like, yeah, I want to play live. I played live in high school, some places around Youngstown, and then like, yeah, just kind of fell in love with it, and it never left. Even the times where like I wasn't playing it, like it always kind of stuck with me, something I always wanted to do. And then the opportunity came up. Went over to Eddie's house, and he showed me some of his songs, showed me how to play it, and like there's just something about it that kind of like drew me to it, you know, like just something special about it. I really liked it, so I knew like, yeah, this is where I want to be right now.
How about you, Kyle?
So actually, I got my first guitar from my grandma when I was 12 years old. I was grounded at the time for doing something stupid. I don't know what it was. But basically, funny thing about the guitar, I still have it. My grandma got it from a pawn shop. It was an old piece of crap, nylon string. And there was a backstory to it. Apparently, it was in an adult film.
Yeah.
And have you seen it? Have I showed you my nylon?
I don't think so.
The Sunlight guitar? Oh, yeah. Like, really wild. Later down the road, I confirmed it. We won't talk about that. But anyways, I had my first guitar. Then I grew up in music. My whole family listened to music. Grew up a lot with my mom, and like she grew up on like Prince. So that's where I kind of started. And then my grandpa introduced the Doors and stuff to me. And but after that, I was on and off on guitar. I'm not the greatest guitar player. I leave that to this guy. I'm like halfway decent, if you want to call that. But I ended up picking up a guitar again in high school. Went through guitar classes, the only class I had an A in. Because obviously it's guitar, it's fun. Nobody cares about anything else. And then in high school, that's where I picked up the drums because I grew up in a very small town. Do you know much about California?
No.
It's a little town called Fillmore. It's in Ventura County. It's like 95% Hispanic, which was really cool, very cultural. But as I was playing music, I had a buddy sitting on the steps of high school. He's like, dude, why are you playing guitar? Like, there's too many guitarists in this little town. I'm like, okay. So I went out and actually I bought a drum set. Never played drums before in my life. And it was an old crappy one out of a storage unit. And basically that's where I picked up the drums, and I started going with that and on and off over the years. And I didn't really start getting back into drums until we connected with our music at our very first show with those 20 people, in that little window. So it's kind of where it came from. Just kind of wrote it out, and here we are now.
What about you, Liv?
I want to say, like, just with music in general, or just
Yeah.
making music. Well, both of my parents were both really into music. Like, my dad was either really into he liked like classic rock or like grunge, or he liked house music or like EDM. So we'd be playing like Dead Mouse in our house or whatever, or he would like have like these like 10-minute club mixes playing all the time. And like, I don't know, I was always like really interested with like rhythm and like that kind of music. And I was always listening to music growing up. Like I was always wearing headphones, and I'd be really upset if like school took them away or something. And then I realized I was like, I could try to make it, but that didn't really occur to me until later on, like when I was probably 17. I played some instruments in like elementary school to middle school. Nothing that really stuck. Like I played some ukulele, I tried the drums, and then what I really liked to do was just kind of like online music production and like learning that sort of thing. And that was a few years before I met all of these guys. And I was like looking up to like all of the electronic music girls, and I was like, oh my gosh, I want to be them so bad. And like just up at late at night just like making random terrifying sounding beats on like BandLab or something because it was just fun. And I did like to sing, but it was something that I was just like didn't really go to like my full potential, or like I didn't get out of my comfort zone. And I'm still slowly getting there with, doing stuff live and even just jamming with people. Sometimes there's that pressure, but I would say it kind of started pretty early, and then the concept of making music, it definitely stuck as something that I really like to do in like late high school.
Well, how about you, Eddie?
My story kind of started around maybe like third grade. I was, getting into trouble. My grandparents' house, and my grandpa had me sit down with him one time, and he was, doing whatever my grandpa does, and he was like, "Hey, I need your help. Come to the garage." So we ended up going to the garage, and I walk into the big garage, and he's like, "No, no, no, the other one." And I was like, "Oh," whoa, whoa," because they had this garage that was like off limits to all kids. And I was like, "Oh, dude, what is in there? I've been wondering this for like my entire life." So I end up walking in there, and it has that like, I still remember it, that like old smell, like old vinyl, like stuff. And I remember walking in, right to the right was a drum set, and then he had amps, and he had wall to wall records, like all the way up, like 8 foot high, and he had a lot of Star Trek stuff. He was a big Star Trek fan. He had a piano. He had like old speakers and stuff, and I was like, "Can I play that?" He's like, "You wanna learn to play that?" And I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "All right, sit down." So so he taught me just a 4 on the floor beat on the drum set, and he pulled his bass guitar out. And that was my first jam session with my grandpa. I'll always remember that, and ever since then I was hooked. I remember because we had some other family members over that came. They started peeking in because they could hear us from the backyard, and he was like, "Okay, yeah, yeah, it's enough," because the neighbors are gonna start complaining or whatever. But yeah, I never I can never forget it. I remember like being in school, and my teachers were like, "He keeps drumming on the desk." And I remember begging my parents, like, "Please, will you buy me a drum set?" And my dad was like, "No." And they were kind of against music, thought it was going to get me into like drugs and get me into trouble and all that stuff. And I was like, "Please, please." And this must have been 4 or 5 years. Every Christmas, every birthday, they'd be like, "What do you want?" And I was like, "I want a drum set." And they were like, "No, no, no." And I would tell them, I was like, "Well, I don't really want anything else. Like, that's what I want to do." And eventually, they bought me a Fender Squire P bass. And I was like, "Finally." And the very first day I broke a string on a bass. I was like, "How do you do that?" But yeah, since then I've been like in and out of lots of bands around the town that I lived in Escondido, and moved up to Seattle in 2008, and I've been in and out of bands, and yeah, music is pretty much part of me. It's my identity, I would say. I would go as far as saying that. I can't honestly imagine life without it, in or out of a band. So
Thank you. Now, Brandon, I do want to go back to you because I'm curious, what was the first bass you ever played on?
Oh, the first bass?
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, I do remember this. I remember I would say there was one that they had at school. I forget which one that was. And I remember looking at it. It was black, had a very long neck. And I remember picking it up, and my teacher was like showing it to me. He was trying to explain it to me. And I remember thinking like, I really want a bass now. And I remember my mom, she came up to me. And at the time we didn't really have much, but my mom was like, yeah, what do you want for, I think it was my birthday at the time. She was like, yeah, what do you want for your birthday? And I said, yeah, I just want a bass guitar. And I found this one online, like some dude was selling it at a shop. I had a case and everything. And I think it was in Warren, Ohio. So we drove all the way down. I think it was called Spiderweb Music. And I went to go pick it up. And it was some brand. It was called J. Tercer. I didn't even have a name for her, but I just remember I loved this bass so much. I don't even remember what happened to it. It just like, I don't know, one day it disappeared, kept falling in school and stuff, like other people would. It got messed up pretty bad, but I played the heck out of that bass. It's great. Great.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And you all are kind of in the process of creating a new album, right? And I'm curious because some bands want to record like all at one session. Other bands prefer like everybody playing to a click. And as you're producing or creating this album, are you going to record it like as a live band performance, or are you going to be like doing it like section to section?
That's a great question. We haven't really found a process that exactly works. We've tried actually a little bit of everything. We're in the process of experimenting, I would say. Would you guys agree with that?
Yeah.
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 It's a learning curve.
Yeah.
100%. And it's one of those things where, and I've talked to a lot of bands over the last couple of years, is it's not as intuitive and easy as you would like to believe it is. That first recording always seems to be the most difficult because it's like you're trying to find your groove. And the reality is, if you think about music in general, it's kind of a miracle that exists in the first place because you got 4 people on stage, 4 people in the studio, all have their own personality, all have their own thought process. But then for a period of 3 minutes and 32 seconds, you're all in unison playing the same thing. And it's just outside of music. I have no idea where that exists. So when you all are like playing live in front of the audience, what are some of the things you want to see from the audience?
Enthusiasm. Yeah.
I think personally, specifically from the last show and the show before that we did, when they get like lost in it, you can tell that it's pretty good because it feels like the music is more than just a performance, but rather than it's like something that's being shared. So I love seeing it, like when they're just like bobbing their head and they're just like eyes closed, everything. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, and on top of that, not our last show, but the one prior to that, it was really cool. I thought it was the coolest moment. Like you do a lot when you're on the drums, right? You kind of just paying attention to your own thing. But when you take like that few, I don't know, like 5 seconds to look outside of your drums and you see like kids that are like, what, 16, 17, 18, they're just like sitting there rocking their head out. And you're like, yeah, that's how I know you're doing something right. You know,
Yeah.
It's not just like the older people. You got like the younger kids.
Well, it's cool to know that there's like still like younger people, even in like rural areas. They're just coming home from school and then they're going to go see their favorite local band after school and like after they get home. And I think that's really cool that either me or other bands that are playing with us could be that for them. I think that's awesome.
And then in terms of like the live performance piece, do you all prefer to have like a set list, or do you sort of like play it by ear based on what you see in the audience?
We rotate songs every show we have. So we do have an idea of how we're going to approach a show. It's hard when you don't know what the venue is like either.
I think we go into it with the set list for the most part, but then a lot of the times naturally, I think we improv on a little thing like live. I think it sounds cooler when you improv a little bit. You know, you're having fun at that point. Like everybody's in sync. So to answer that, we go in with the set list. It could be a different set list every time, but is it gonna like be A B A B A B A B? No, it's gonna have character. It's gonna have something special. Because all of us put all of our effort into it.
And that's one of the things that I stress, like in in this podcast, and the reason I feel it's really, really, really important for people to support local music is because not only are you supporting the community, you are going to have access to a show that is going to be different every single time. And that's what I love about local performances, because you always have that sort of unique little flair. If you go to like a concert and you're spending $500 on that concert ticket, and that's usually the exact same set list, the exact same music, every single show. So if you want something a little different, even if it's the same band, local's the way to go. Especially when would you pay $400 for tickets? $25. And I say, because of sound, the $25 show is going to be better. Because once you get into a venue that's so big, you have to sacrifice sound for the size of the audience. And so when you have these smaller shows with local bands, I have found in my experience that the sound is just better. So when you are approaching like a live show, how important is the consideration of volume?
Oh man,
It's like our biggest battles right now. Biggest battle. I'll give you an example. Like, there's a place called the Charleston out where we live in Bremerton. It's an old school punk, like metal venue, right? That's what they're known for. And really cool venue. Owner's really cool. We've played there several times. Like, it's a pretty good stage. Like, it's a big, it's like a theater, right?
Yeah,
It's like a theater, right? They have a pretty good sound setup. The working out sound isn't that much of a problem there. Like, it still becomes a problem every now and again if we don't get enough, like, what do you call that? Practice, like pre-sound check. But like, comparatively to a show we just played, really small, like really cramped, it definitely like affected our play style like a lot, and it changed the sound. We're still battling the live sound, like trying to dial it in.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what, like, you'll know that we're raw and true, right? Because like, we didn't sound just like ultimately perfect, that we're still people. So it was, yeah.
I argue concerts are better when they're not perfect. Like, there's just something about it. It's just like, because sometimes you have those magical moments that you didn't even expect. Like, oh,
yeah,
that ended with, like, I didn't expect it to end like that, but that was freaking amazing.
Yeah.
Can you think of a time recently where you like sort of went in a different direction and then afterwards was like, what just happened?
I mean, I have one specifically. I've thought about it the past couple of times. Maybe not that one, but maybe not that one, but
I don't know if we're thinking of the same thing.
I don't think we're thinking of the same thing. I was specifically talking about Brandon because every once in a while I'll be playing something and Brandon comes out of left field with something, and I just look over at him and he's just like,
I don't know where it came from.
yeah, just head nod, eyes closed.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, cool, yeah. But
Yeah.
hey, what are you thinking of?
I don't know. I'm thinking of the last show.
Oh, Tonto?
El
'Cause
Tonto,
we
yeah.
played it like so much faster than we usually do it. And I was up on stage like losing my breath. I was gonna faint. I was like on the verge of passing out, dude.
That was a kind of a wild one
Well,
too.
yeah, because also my mic, I had turned it all the way up on one of the dials because just something with the sound. It's just like I had to literally just be screaming in the mic for Tonto, but also doing it like 10 times faster than we usually do it. So that was like the only thing that I could think of like off the top of my head.
That's probably my fault.
That one was
No, it's okay. It was funny.
Yeah.
that one was wild because we played our set and then like we kind of just like we were done, and like
They're like,
one more song, we were like, oh shit, okay, all right, I guess we're pulling this one out. We haven't played it, like we haven't practiced it that much.
Yeah.
Not a complicated song, but when you haven't practiced something, and basically I hold the timing right as the drummer, and I basically just railed through the song high speed, just 100%, and that like threw her off. And these guys were like trying to keep up and do their thing.
Oh, yeah.
I thought I was playing it all wrong the whole entire time. Apparently I nailed the whole thing. I don't know, but
I thought it was good.
there's your moment. There's a moment for you.
Yeah.
You're just like, whoo, thank
It was
you.
fun. It was just like it was very much that's like a very energetic song, but it was like so much more energetic because of the speed. But I think everyone was having a good time, you know.
Do you find at times where like you've changed directions based on what you see in the audience in terms of like a song that's a little bit faster or a little bit slower?
I never look at it, the audience. I just
That's fair too.
I've got so much going on.
Honestly, I
Yeah.
think we just like we do our thing.
Yeah.
That's what we like. I don't. There's this thing like you're supposed to pay attention to the audience, right? Read the room, read the audience. But I felt like we just like connect with them ourselves and play the music like how we're feeling it, and it's just like it's either take it or leave it kind of deal. Not to be like, you know, rude or anything like that, but like I don't know, we're just into our own sound most of the time.
And I don't think it's necessarily rude. I like it. I think of it more like you're an artist and this is what you can do. And this is what feels right to you. And if the audience vibes with it, great, but it's not going to impact your show.
Exactly.
You know, you're going to still put forth all of the effort, because I think a lot of people have this misconception that it doesn't take a lot of work to be in music. Horse shit. It takes a lot of freaking work to be stage ready. How did you all sort of handle the nonverbal communication during a live show?
I'm looking at Eddie a lot of the time for cues when we're changing something or like when I come in, because sometimes, especially because it's hard when we don't practice a certain song as much. But I'm kind of just like looking at him like, hmm? So, I mean, I don't know. Usually I communicate with my eyes for the most part. I'm like, just kind of side-eyeing like, no. That's usually agreed upon prior, unless it's like an unspoken thing where it's like,
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've been relying on those two actually a lot lately, especially at the venue smaller. Last I couldn't even hear myself the last show, so I just played whatever he played and whatever
Yeah.
Brandon played.
Yeah, that it's always good to know like the rumble is so loud. I love it. But like it's good to know that it's loud enough for you guys to like keep catching it. And I recently came to the realization that as a bassist I have a lot of time to look around because I'm just holding it down, you know. But yeah, whenever I look at these two, they're always locked in, and I usually catch on to what they're doing and stuff, and like try to kind of freestyle it a little bit, add a little flavor to whatever I'm playing. So yeah, to match what these guys are putting out. So
if you're thinking about venues, right? And one of the things that I love to talk to artists about, and I'm hoping someday venues will pick up on this, and it's a very, very important question that doesn't get asked often enough. As an artist or a band, what is something you would like to see in a venue that's bare minimum that will help you play or help you be your best selves on stage?
louder PAs.
That's a tough one. That's a tough one.
I mean, it's kind of nice to know what you're getting yourself into, you know. I think we're referencing this last show a lot because it was very new for us. We drove from out of state. We had to do lots of planning. We couldn't really play together the day of, and
yeah,
we had no idea what we were really getting ourselves into. But we kind of show up, and we didn't really. I guess I didn't know what to expect, but there was no help with the board or anything, so that was kind of all on us, and we couldn't get the vocals loud enough, and there was some technical issues at the beginning, and I mean, it's just kind of nice to know what we're gonna get or maybe what we're not gonna get, and I think that kind of helps set the pace for us as well. So
Yeah, there's like you know, we have a few songs that are really like vocally dependent on being heard. You know, it's like very important. And like if you don't have a proper like PA setup, or if like there's some complications, you know, it's gonna be like, can't hear the singer. I'm like, sorry, there's nothing we can do.
yeah,
We're trying here. Like, so I don't know. I don't know if there's anything they could give you, because you know, if you play like it's different when you play at like a bigger theater like venue, because they have all the gear mostly. When you play local like bars or little mom and pop things, it's a little more challenging, you know, because like you're there to entertain people like that. It's not just like hosting a show like at a venue. So sometimes they don't have a lot of the equipment. So just knowing maybe what they have and getting yourself and what we're getting ourselves into, you know, would probably help for sure.
Because is one of the things that I try to stress on every venue that I meet is that the if you're able to invest a slight amount of money on the front end and make the music in your venue better, your venue will be better. And there's this lack of relationships sometimes with venues and artists because it's almost like an us versus them, when in reality, you're interdependent of each other. And so I will speak ad nauseum until I start seeing this. Like, if you have a venue that's putting on music, listen to the music and add some soundproofing, right? Like, add some speakers, like bare minimum stuff that doesn't going to cost you much. It's not going to break the bank, but it will help your musicians that are playing for you, which will bring more customers. And it's very cyclical. And so I'm getting off my soapbox now. But
Preach it.
yeah, but it's one of those challenging things, right? Because like, if you don't know what you're getting into, you can't prepare. And one of the things you need with music is preparation. Like, without the preparation piece, things kind of can go off the rails. And the thing that I usually ask bands too is because I can't stress the importance of collaboration and working together as a unit. How important is it to you all that you get along?
It's very important. We collaborate on all of our songs. Kyle writes some guitar parts, and we mesh them together, and I play some drum parts, and we kind of mix them up like that. And Liv does all the vocals, though. But
I mean, you have a couple songs that you sing and that you've written.
yeah, I do, but you know, nobody wants to hear that.
Yeah, I think most of the time, like, it usually starts with either him writing something really cool, and then I'll write something crappy. It might be like one like little riff or something like that, and that's cool. Anything else, like, okay, we'll kick it, and then, you know, we'll work on it, build it, you know, and then he'll come and he'll get involved, and that's where he like kind of learns the song, and then he'll throw his little spin on it, and then we throw it at her, like, hey, write lyrics. You know?
Yeah. Improvise, sing to the beat. You're like, they're just like, sing anything. I'm
It's
like, yeah.
An example, we have one song that's like, it's a really heartfelt song that I think like we put a lot of work and effort into. And I think we wrote lyrics to it, Pine and Pumpkin. We wrote lyrics. They're okay. I'm not a writer.
Yeah.
Like,
definitely
did our best, you know? They're okay. And then, like, we have the song. It's a great song. And then when she threw her take on it, her spin, her lyrics, the way she sings it, completely changed the song and just elevated it.
Yeah.
It's a whole nother level.
I think we even changed some parts to fit it better.
Yeah.
It was really good.
It ended up just, like, working itself out, you know, and then he added bass line on it.
Yeah.
Which wasn't it played differently? Because he wasn't around when we made that song.
We had another bass player, Larry.
Yeah, we had a previous bass player. He had to leave for other reasons, and when he came back, this is our OG, you know.
Yeah,
he's the soul of the band. he just naturally throws something on it.
Yeah, it was when I came back, you guys did the show at the Manette, and I went down to go watch them, and I remember listening to that song, and it really caught my attention. I was like, I could already hear a bass line in my head, and I was like thinking, like, yeah, I want to do something with this.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I feel like that song is like collectively like our child. We try to nurture it all the time, and maybe something changes, or we're like, don't mess it up when we play it live.
Undrop stick.
So super important. Super important that we all collabed, like, got it in on that song. So It's not just that song, other songs obviously too,
Yeah,
but
those are the songs that stick around.
super important.
Yeah, because sometimes you never know when it's going to be just like the right combination of stuff. And you have the freedom to make the changes until you get that like last little recording bit done, and then you're like, ah.
Crazy about that. You brought up the recording. How many takes did I have on that song's drums?
I don't know.
I must have had like 40 or 50. Like, because it's weird time signatures. Like, it's probably the hardest song that we have. And like the amount of just like yelling and frustration that goes into that process, man, of the recording. Yeah. Totally get it.
Which brings me to a really good question, though, right? Because while I love bands with time signatures that are wild, I don't understand how you keep the time with those odd time signatures. Is there a trick? Because, like, I have those bands where, like, there's 7 count. Like, wait, what? Like, what? How?
I will say the best thing that we learned, part of the learning process of recording, and it came from this guy, right? When you recorded that scratch track, but you had like the specific time signatures, right? Because you can't just like throw a 4/4 metronome on it and just call it good, right? It's not just all the way through. And basically, if you have a solid enough scratch on a complicated song like that with the time, then it just makes everything easier for drums. And then once you have drums and drums are on that point, like after 50 fucking takes, sorry, excuse my French.
No, it's fine. We can swear here.
Okay,
Oh,
cool.
nice.
50 takes, you know, like
Good to know.
it's just like finally got the one. And then that's when bass can come in. You know, and just like how many takes did he do on that?
It took like 2 hours, but
Yeah.
he got it down.
Yeah.
I don't know how
Yeah.
many takes exactly, but it
Yeah.
must have been.
Gotta make sure it's perfect.
So how do you, as a bass player, keep track of the change in times?
I'm not gonna lie, it's just a feeling. Like for me, yeah. Like I just feel the shifts and like catch on. I don't like, normally I'm not counting in my head, but I'm moving my head to it. So you know what I mean? So I don't know.
Yeah. I'm counting. Oh yeah. Oh god.
Do you ever find like when you're counting, it kind of like trips you up?
Yes, it does. Especially if there's something that's missed. I don't know what it is about. I don't know what it is about me, but if there's like, I think it's much harder for me to adapt. And Brandon is he's so intuitive, and I struggle with that a lot. So the smallest things can kind of throw me off. But the more we practice, the easier it is for me to flow with these guys, because they wing it. Yeah.
And then as a singer, is it hard for you to sort of keep track of everything? Or?
I don't know. I kind when it comes to like the technicalities of music, I've always just been like, well, this is the part that sounds like this. So when Eddie does the guitar, and then he kind of does like a pause on the drums, or maybe like he does a certain like pattern, and I'm like, oh, okay, like yeah, this is where I come in and sing this part, especially like when I have to stop for a minute for them to like do their thing. I think it's just repetition and also consistency with practice, which has been struggle lately. But that's what I've relied on the most since being in this band. So
And what I have learned along the way is that there is no right way or wrong way. It's what's right for you.
yeah.
And I'm always fascinated by how many different approaches musicians have, because you never know how the music is going to speak to you. It's pretty cool in that regard, I think. And in terms of like the live performance piece, one of the things that I will keep saying, as well as earlier, is the after the performance piece, because I keep hearing from people that they're nervous to go up to a band after they've performed and tell them how wonderful they thought the music was. As a band, do you like it when people tell you that you're doing well?
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
It's the
It's
best.
the greatest feeling, honestly.
Yeah, it's pretty
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, I could tell, like, I've seen it, like, after the shows, they, like, look at you, but you could tell, like, they're too afraid to come up, but I think I like the feedback. It's nice.
Yeah.
It's good to know.
And it's nice because, like, you potentially have a conversation with this person and, like, maybe they also do music or, it's really cool. I mean, like what Brandon was saying, like, you notice that hesitancy, but I'm also just like, no, let's be social. Like, I want to talk to you. And if you want to talk to me, that's great. I don't know. It's like giving a compliment to a stranger on the street, and it's not exactly the same thing. And you're like, oh, I'm not going to say anything. I'm like, no, just say something. It'll probably make their day. And, I think as a band, it reassures us that we're going the right direction and people like what we're doing. And,
Yeah. Strangers are friends you haven't met yet, and believes the Irish saying.
And so what called you to this genre of music to begin with? Because like all of the genres of music, I'm always fascinated by what was it that pulled you to this particular kind of music?
I'm going to start with myself.
Please.
Just for an instance, I was a gatekeeper for metal.
Mm.
Like, all I listened to was metal. I was an angry fat kid growing up. So, like, wearing all black and metal, that was the thing. Like, chicks weren't talking to me, so I was going to go listen to angry music. But truthfully, I didn't start branching out until this guy showed me stuff that I never heard of. And I was like, remember I was a big Nirvana hater. And I'm starting to like Nirvana now. Maybe it's just because I'm getting older. Like, I don't really listen to heavy metal that much anymore. But, like, yeah, it's just like, I think the thing is as you get older, you learn to let go of, like, that ego or whatever, something that's holding you, like, staying in that lane. Because that shit's boring. Like, branch out. Listen to everything. Don't hold yourself to one lane. I think that's where we try to go with our music, right? Because, like, I have metal roots. I grew up, or I played in bands that was mostly metal. As part of the hardcore scene back then. And, like, I'll naturally apply some of my metal takes just because it's what I've known to our style. So, like, even though Brandon comes over here with some, like, jazzy, funky stuff or whatever he likes to play, I could throw a little metal spin on it. Or if he likes shoegaze, it's kind of cool if you don't limit your music. So,
How about you, Brandon?
I think I will say I was talking about this with Eddie a while ago, but like when I first started listening to music, like really listening, it was just straight dubstep, like just straight up. Like I loved, and I think I always like, even when I wasn't even really in music, I was a big bass head. Like I just love anything that had like some deep, heavy bass. And over time, I just started like really growing into it some more and more. Like started listening to a lot of, started listening to some rap, some hip hop. Then it started shifting over to rock and now indie alternative music, jazz, funk, everything now I'm just open to everything. And I think like what we do, like they even recommend to me like just, bring something to the table, like bring like wherever I'm coming from or the music that I like. So I think it's good. I just think it's good. It's a way for that kind of feeling to thrive, with the way that I'm playing and stuff. And I also really like this like kind of the emotion I've been in recently. So yeah.
uh, it's I laughed when Brandon said dubstep because some of like my earliest memories, well, I won't say earliest memories, but like early childhood was like dubstep and like going on the family computer and listening to dubstep because I don't know, it was fun. But my mom's side, she liked more like goth music, whereas like my dad, he liked, like Foo Fighters, Nirvana, Weezer, Presidents. So it was kind of like getting a taste of that and a taste of my mom's side that was like very like 80s kind of new wave goth sounding. She loved The Cure. That was like one of her fave things. And I remember just like hearing how like whiny they were on the vocals, or how like cryptic or like almost scary they were, and how much distortion they put on it. I was like, that sounds really cool. So I think it's both like childhood influences and like newer influences, especially with a lot of like female vocalists that play with their voice instead of just singing. They make like they scream, or they make weird voices, or make up like impressions or characters in their head and like kind of sing from that perspective. I think you can do a lot with that. So, that definitely inspired me to do different things, but at the same time, kind of meet in the middle with everybody with like the genre that we do. Although I'd say we're pretty like, while we make rock music, we're also like pretty open. Like sometimes when I'm like, I want to do this or that, we're like, okay, sure. Because I feel like it's a kind of dynamic I like, where we'll just kind of try everything once. And if it sucks, it sucks. But, it's fun to experiment.
Mm-hmm.
How about you, Eddie?
I grew up on cumbia music, actually.
Cumbia.
My mom used to listen to some other Mexican music, like Los Bukis, when she would clean the house and stuff like that. Yeah, I didn't really actually get into music until I was probably in my early 20s. I never really listened, honestly. I did play a lot. I think I was more interested in what I could do with other people. But I started listening, and I started buying records. I think that was a huge thing. I wanted to have like a record collection like my grandpa, and I remember I saw a Dinosaur Jr. one, and I'll never forget it because I was actually scared of it, so I put it back. Yeah, but yeah, that's about it. Just leave it at that.
And another thing I'm kind of curious about, right, is because as you're sort of coming up with material, do you normally start with like a beat, or do you start with a riff, or do you start with like a melody, or does it depend on the song?
I think we start with an album that we really like. There is an album by an artist called Pine Grove that Kyle and I really liked, and we were listening to that and kind of going back and listening to some other things like Smashing Pumpkins, and we were like, wouldn't it be cool if we could take this and that and put them together and make a song? And we did. That's exactly what we did. And I think it stems from what we decide to listen to together as a group or as individuals and bring it together. I think that's really important. Trying to maybe like push further what that artist was doing and in your own interpretation of it, because there's no bounds.
Anyone else?
I mean, I think that's pretty fair. I think that's kind of a commonality that we've been doing. Is like we'll go see a show or something, and like, man, those guys are badass, like badass. It was just like, remember when we went and saw Buddy Wincoop?
Mm-hmm.
We kind of like, was it me or was it you that kind of came up with like this weird riff? And then it was kind of like similar.
Yeah. I told them, I was like, that sounds like Gang of Four.
Yeah.
I was like, that sounds like, and so I told them, I went up and talked to them, and I was like, you guys sound like Gang of Four. He was like, oh, okay. But I think they kind of had more like of a parquet courts kind of sound too. And to me, anyways, it sounded like kind of like Talking Heads, kind of Gang of Four, kind of put together, kind of meshed up, really, really raw stuff like Idols. And I was like, so I listened to it on the way home, and I actually have the Entertainment album. So I put it on, and I was like, okay, I kind of get it. And so I just was messing around with something, and I took it to band practice, and we were just messing around.
Yeah. I came up with like and not in the same style of a beat, but in like the same feeling, I guess. And we actually made a song with it. We just jammed it out for like a couple hours.
Yeah. And then 4 days later, we played it.
And it doesn't like necessarily sound like that band, right? this sounds different. We're not gonna like copy. We're trying not to. You can never like. I think there's so much music out there. It's so hard to create like a new sound, like something new.
Yeah.
So you're gonna have like, influence sound from lots of different areas. So it's like, man, that sounds awfully a lot like that, but it's not played the same way. So you just have to like, all right, still sounds good. Let's send it.
And then how did y'all come up with your name to begin with?
That started with us.
It's a secret.
Tell me more.
You always say it, or you want to do it?
Yeah.
You came up
I
with the name.
told them, I was like, who didn't, I didn't know there was a dress code. Like, they were always in sweatpants, and I was like, have leather shoes on and like pants and stuff. And I was like, there's like a saying, it's like a chancludo. It just pretty much means somebody who just like wears sandals and like is kind of sloughy. That's how they always used to come to band practice. And so I was like, just kind of teasing them a little bit, and we just shortened it up. So Ludos comes from chancludos, yeah.
Pretty much.
But now we all wear Crocs to band practice.
Pulling from our roots.
Yeah.
And then talk about the experience of like the first time you all were on stage together.
Oh.
All of us together?
Yeah.
That was actually our last show.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was hectic, man. I'll
It
tell
was.
you that. Yeah.
Because you guys played local, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So not only did you not know you had to drive all the way down here for that local. Oh, wow. That's
Mhm.
intense.
Yeah.
No, what? Oh, yeah. Oh, that's right. Because
That was-
the Manette, he wasn't in yet. He wasn't back in. It was just us three.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Got it.
So how about the first time the three of you played together?
Us three or who?
Who has been there the longest?
It's,
It's me and Kyle.
yeah, for sure. We haven't played live like duo
Yeah.
together, but I think we played with you.
Yeah.
No.
At the Charleston.
No, it was Larry. It was Larry.
It was
Yeah.
Liv. It was me, you, Liv, and Larry at the Shanghai Lounge.
Yeah.
So what was
Yeah.
the Shanghai Lounge?
Actually, we just met Liv.
Yeah, this is
Yeah.
like probably like 2 or 3 weeks after we met. They're like,
No,
"Oh yeah,
No,
we
it
got
was days.
we got a show coming up."
No, Liv, it was like
Yeah.
it was like 2 or 3 days.
Yeah.
Was it?
Yes.
It was
Wasn't
like maybe a week most.
Dude, I don't know if
She
I'd be
hasn't
able
really
to perform
practiced
live
or
in
rehearsed or anything.
3 days.
I would say, yeah, that was all us three together.
Because I remember we had all introduced each other in like June, but it was like early July that we were playing our first show.
Yeah, maybe you're right.
The Shanghai room in Green Lake, and I was like, oh shit, this
Yes,
is
it-
getting real.
Yeah, it was an interesting one. Our last show was the first show we actually all played together. We had a show before that, but she was
I can't even remember.
retiring.
Yeah, my family friend, who's actually also a big music head, he was having his retirement party. I was like, sorry guys, like I can't miss this.
But
Can't miss this.
And the show must go on.
Yes.
And it did.
And it did.
And they
It was
did
fun.
great. And they performed a new outro for Chicago and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Went really well.
Yeah.
So
thought
what's
so.
next for you all?
More shows.
Yeah.
More shows. We're
We'll
trying to
find
knock
out.
out an EP for this album coming out, or the album that we're working on. That's been a struggle bus all the way through. It's a lot different, I think, when you can pay to have somebody record you and do that way, but when you try to do it like independently, save a buck, or like just don't have the time to all just go into the recording studio. Yeah, we just got working on this EP so we can get it out there for people to listen to. And then some
Do you
more
have a name
shows.
for it yet?
We did.
We've played around with some names, but I don't think we've all agreed. So
Yeah. Because I think what happened, right, with our music is we played certain songs when we first started, and they were garbage. Like, we carried them for
they
what?
were
Like,
good. They were good.
they were like a year. We carried them for about a year, almost 2 years, and they were like, I won't say they're garbage. It was just like we evolved.
It got us on track. I
Yeah,
think.
we evolved. Like, that's the
because I wrote this.
That's the hardest thing I find about our music is like we keep evolving. it's like every like month goes by, week goes by, we work on a new song, like another new song will come. And it's like the evolving. It's hard to catch up when everything just keeps evolving.
It's cool to play a song live and then say like, dude, that was badass. We should do that again. Yeah, it's kind of like a roller coaster, but it's a ride at a theme park. You play it sometimes and then you're like, it's not for me. But,
yeah, we have the trying to get this EP, and then should we tell them about the event that we're doing?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
You guys good with that?
Yeah.
We're actually, so I've had this thing like as a smaller band, like trying to get out there. It's kind of hard to get in with some of the bigger venues, right? Because like they want you to bring heads, like get it, it's business, right? You need to make some money. So like as we're growing, we've noticed that like it's been kind of a struggle bus, right? And what I wanted to do was create an event where we invite local Pacific Northwest bands out and host an event for all the bands, like whether you have 50 followers or whether you have, I don't know, 1,000 followers, 2,000 followers, like to come out, showcase your music. And this is like a full like DIY locally ran show. We actually have that come in on the 14th of March, which I don't know if you want to put it out there. I have a flyer and stuff like that that has all the information on it.
I will 100% include
Yeah,
that.
it's really cool. We have bands from Eastern Washington coming out. We have bands from Seattle. We have I think it's 2 or 3 bands from here.
Yeah.
I think it's 2 bands from here. You know, we have us, we have Tacoma. So it's just like a variety. Like you're going to hear probably different, you know, sounds. There's going to be something for everybody there. But basically it's a show to support the local small bands, to get them going, like spread it out.
How'd that idea come about? Because it is the coolest thing ever.
Honestly, it started with, I think,
Kyle had already talked to me about wanting to start a venue because it was so difficult to find shows. And we played a show with a band called Sweetie.
yeah.
And Kevin and Kyle have been talking, and Kevin reached out to Kyle, and we went over there maybe a few days ago, and he was like, hey, yeah, you know, do whatever you guys want, like put it together, just don't leave me hanging. We were like, yeah, we could do that, Kevin. So
Yeah, it's basically me and him, Kevin from Sweetie. We've basically been going back and forth. Like I just went to Seattle the other day with my wife, you know, go on a date. And like half the time I was on my phone, like trying to set this whole thing up. And I felt like a real jerk. And I was like, I'm sorry. She's like, no, it's fine. I'm glad that you're happy about this. Like, it's good to see you happy, because it is exciting working with, you know, another person who cares as much of like supporting the local community. But basically we were able to get a warehouse, that he ended up owning, a warehouse. He was like, come on over, you know, we'll check this out. I was like, sure. We all go down there, minus Liv, because, you know, Liv's not cool enough to go down there. Just kidding. I'm just kidding. But yeah, we just see it, and like, I'm a dreamer. Like I'm like the big wild ideas. You could probably ask this guy or this guy. I'll probably just say something like wild. Like he's like the realistic. So he just kind of like will kick you and like bring you down a little bit to like reality. But like it started with that dream, and working with another person who was also like that. And that's how it all started to get this event going. Yeah.
So then I want to play a little game of round robin. And what I mean by that is I'm going to ask a question that sort of pertains to a certain group of you, right? So for example, the 3 of you, what do you love about Brandon's playing? And it's going to keep on going down the line.
Oh,
so.
Shotgun.
okay, yeah, I'll go first. Yeah, sometimes I'm honestly surprised at the stuff he does, especially in the mix. It sounds really good. I give him a hard time a lot when he's isolated, but he's really intuitive. Yeah, wrap it up with one word. He's really intuitive. He plays.
Shit, you took my word. I was gonna say he's very intuitive. Well, I will say he is very good with communicating with all of us instead of being like, fuck you guys, I'm gonna do what I want, whatever. I feel like that's something that we all try to be good at, but he especially is just very like go with the flow, but at the same time, like he does a bass line that makes so much sense in the song where I'm like, oh shoot, that was really good. Like I think maybe it was like in Tonto or a song, but I heard him do something that I hadn't heard before. And it was super cool. So I don't know. I think even a slight change with like, bass notes or whatever you're doing in a song can really change it and make it sound really cool in a way that you'd never thought before. And Brandon has done that a handful of times. And granted, I'm somebody here that's known Brandon the least amount of time, and I can already tell, like, it's been great knowing him in the band. This feels like I'm giving a wedding toast or something.
I guess for me, it's how hard he works. Like honestly, like the hard work, the amount of like time and effort that like when he came back into the band, like I told him, I was like, listen, man, you got to come hit it hard. Like none of this, like I want you to sleep with your guitar. I called him one day, sleeping with his guitar, like commitment, hard work, dedicated. Like he was like, I'm taking this seriously. I'm going to learn this stuff. And I think because of doing that, it's kind of made him like, what would you say that? It's like, he just randomly is good. Like he just comes up with stuff.
Yeah.
It pushed him to that level of like, or me and him, or all three of us are like,
Now we all
Dude.
sleep with guitars.
like, what the heck, So
Anytime
I'm gonna.
one of them calls me, I go always grab my guitar.
Yeah,
I was like, "Where's your guitar,
that
bro?"
was the thing. It was like whoever called, you got to have your guitar in your hand, But it's just the hard work, dedication. I respect him for that, and like, because he put in that time, it locks us in together. Like we're just, so.
Then I would ask the same about Kyle. Brandon, you want to start?
That, yeah. So yeah, something that I really, really like. When he's just playing this, you'll be playing a beat and you'll just be going in. And I always try to find a way to like connect. Because the one thing that I remember my teacher telling me back in the day, he was all like, yeah, like you and the bass drum are like connected. And I said, really need to focus on that. And some of the stuff that you do, I really enjoy. I used to also play metal back then in a metal band for a little bit. Shout out to Zach. So like the stuff that you do, especially with the double pedal, like I love that stuff. It really lets me like I like to go in. So I enjoy seeing the stuff that you come up with, and I enjoy like it's really inspiring. I know I could probably never do anything like that. So yeah.
Never say never.
Yeah.
Never.
Yeah, but I love it. I like hearing it every day. Very inspiring. Oh, and the stuff that you like whenever you're playing on the guitar too, and then the chords on the bass too, you really like open my mind to that kind of stuff. So very awesome stuff.
More chords.
Yeah.
How about you, Liv?
Honestly, the first thing that I noticed was just his general like enthusiasm and energy, and like whenever we're playing and like I'm vocal, so usually I can like kind of dart my eyes around and I see Kyle and he's just like sweating buckets and he's just going crazy on the drums, and he's just like, I don't know, he has a lot of like, it's very clear that like he's just locked in and he's like very passionate about what he does and like what he's currently doing in the moment. He's like, gotta send it hard. That's what he always says. He's like, just send it. So, I think he clearly brings on that own energy himself. So I've always admired that.
Thank you, Eddie.
Yeah. Kyle carries the emotion of the entire band, especially if he's having a bad day. Everybody knows, he's yeah. Yeah, he like he said earlier, to speak on what he said earlier, yeah, he doesn't mind reaching out and finding shows for us and finding you. I don't know how that happened, and yeah, he works some miracles for sure. He puts us into some precarious situations sometimes, but you know, we work through it, and and it's fun. I don't think it would be as fun without him.
Thank you. And then next we'll do Liv. Who wants to start?
Yeah, I'll start.
Please.
What is there to say about that? Yeah, she's fearless, man. She, you know, she came out and she just started just playing with us and going to shows and just saying like, you know, fuck it, like let's just do it. And she does that every single time we play a show, and there's no lack of enthusiasm from her ever, and we really appreciate that. And this whole our whole sound has kind of changed because of what she brings to the table, and her energy and her imagination is sometimes even for me is like okay. uh but yeah, you know, it's really pushed us as a group because it's just like one more person with just this select genre that they really like that they add to the group that is not like anybody else. And it really, she really wants to try to do some things her way, and we, you know, give her the agency, and I believe we do, and a platform to try to do that.
Huh?
She doesn't know her true potential, like her talent, you know? She's just that good. Like, she's just that good. I want you to know you're better than what you think you are. And like, just run it. Send it. Just send it. That's all I gotta say. That's all I gotta say.
Go ahead then.
Yeah, so I remember when, like, before I left, we were like looking for a singer, and then I ended up leaving, and I came back, and they're all like, yeah, we got this new singer now, Liv. She's pretty good. And I was like, okay, yeah, I can't wait to hear. I was excited, and I remember going down and like listening to them play, and I just thought like, yo, this is insane. Blew my mind. I was like, I really like it. I heard the new songs. I thought they were amazing. I just like the feeling that you invoked when you would sing. Like the one time when we went to practice before that one show we had, and you came down, like we were just playing, and I was like, "Yo, I'm about to cry right now. It's so sad. It was such a good song. It was Chicago, yeah. It was really good, and I just like, yeah, like I don't know. I just think I think you're extremely talented. I really like the way that you sing and stuff, and I just think it fits so well. So yeah.
And then last but definitely not least, Mr. Eddie himself.
Don't be shy.
Okay. I want to go first and just say that, like, Eddie's a wizard, dude. Like, it's crazy the amount of things, like, when I have a question about, like, anything, like, technological about music, I'm like, Eddie, can I call you? Eddie, I gotta text you about this. Or, like, when we're practicing, and God bless him for helping me set up my pedals. We play. He's also just, like, I don't know, he's one of those people, the first time that, like, I was on the way to Kyle's house to his studio, he was like, yeah, I'm good on the guitar, but like Eddie is like crazy. Like he knows his stuff. And I was like, oh shit. And yeah, I was definitely blown away. Like when I heard him play and like how it's just like, he's so in tune with like everything he's doing. And I'm like, dude, it's very inspiring. Like seeing him is like, I'm going to do this. So I'm just going to do it. Like it's the word. I don't know. It has something to do with just like the feeling of just being frozen and procrastinating all the time. Like I do that all the time. Then I'm like, man, like Eddie would just already have this down. Like I gotta do this, dude. So, you know, I think he's just very like multi-talented in a lot of ways. Yeah.
How about you, Kyle?
It's kind of like the if you had a musical coin, like when creating the music, it's like he's like one half, like to my other half. You know what I'm saying? kind of in that perspective, like, because even though like I try hard at playing guitar, I have like a little bit of a condition that affects that, and he always makes fun of it because I have natural tremolo. I guess that's what we're calling it.
Built in.
Yeah, it's built in tremolo, but like I like the fact that I can create something and then send it his way, whether it's like music or something else, but mostly music, and like he can reciprocate it. And, like he'll catch the feeling, catch the idea, and then like make it bigger, make it better. And I've always just something I've like respected for that, and just like I don't know, he's just he's a dedicated guy, committed. You know, he's always there when you need him. And yeah,
Thank you. How about you?
So yeah, I think that the way that you play is pretty amazing in the sense that, like, one, I don't think I've ever met someone in person who has played as intensely as you have. I think like some of the stuff that he's played is like when he plays solos and stuff, like I think that's amazing. Like I just don't know how to describe it, but it's like really intense, and I'm always like blown away, especially with the one song Jumbrella. Yeah, like dude, like the one part that I play, the bass line that I play, it like I think it accents it so well, and it just sounds so good. And I'm always inspired by like the things that you do, and just like Kyle was saying, like there's a few times where I've come up with a few bass lines, like just like very rarely, and I would send it to you, and you could like turn it into something crazy. Like you always have these like really good ideas and stuff, and not only that, you've changed my perspective on like the way that I play. Like you make things that seem complicated, like you're like, oh, it's actually really easy if you look at it this way. Like when you showed me the box and stuff, things like that. So like truly just inspirational all around. And yeah, I think that's all I have to say.
And last question, because we've been at this for well over an hour. Where can people find you?
well, they can find us on Instagram. It's obviously at Ludos_music. You can find basically all of us are on there if you want to reach out or look at us individually. But also our content and stuff is going to be mostly put on Instagram. We're still building the social media platform, working on like website, and then once this EP/album comes out or whatever it is, obviously that's going to go to like all the distro platforms for streaming. Um, that's probably our main source, like connecting all of us. And like I will say, you can message Instagram, like if you had a question or something like that. I'm mostly on it, and I'm gonna answer you back. That's like one of my biggest peeves on Instagram is like it's hard to get a hold of an artist or get a hold of somebody. Like I'm not afraid. Like I may not get to you right away, but it's gonna come up, and I'm gonna read it eventually. And maybe I'll throw a response. I'll say something because you never know. It's all about connectivity. So even though I don't know you, you reach out. Maybe you're connected to somebody. We link up, and something happens. So again, it's the at Ludos_music on Instagram.
And if you haven't had a chance to check these guys out at a concert or a local show, y'all need to. And I'll end the podcast the way I always end the podcast, folks. Be kind. We all live on the same planet. We breathe the same air, and this world would just be a little bit better if we treated everybody with a little kindness and respect. Thank you so much.